So the goal this week is to show how this works and how it could be implemented. This is not a spec. This is not a final work product. But we thought to ourselves, we've been talking about this. It's fairly ambiguous. How might this actually work? So what the NFC Forum did is over the past 2 or so months, we've worked with a developer to build a reader that can read NDPP data directly. And what we want to show is how we might implement that in a couple of products. So this right here is just a pin that we give away to the speakers. You'll get yours if you're a speaker. Sorry if you haven't gotten it yet, but you will get one. But in this, on top of this case, there's a tag that will just take you to the website. So it's an example of a customer affinity program. The primary purpose of the tag is to engage someone in a customer affinity program. So the idea is you would tap and something would happen. So let me get my phone. Oh yeah, so it shows some promise, but make sure you realize this is all these disclaimers. So the first one is this example of coexistence. So we're just going to tap on it like you normally would for a regular product demo. So that's the idea. You would just tap on something, and this is how it would normally work. Okay, that's great. But if you want to store DPP data on the device, how does that work? Because as Klaus was mentioning, if there's more than one INDEF record, it only reads the first INDEF record. All right? So this is the app that we've written to basically show how this might work. So if you were to go ahead and tap the scan, yeah, and holds it within proximity, you'll see that this reader has read data that shows you the product. I mean, this is just some basic information. I made it up, so please don't take a picture of it. But it would have like somewhat of a supplement of all the DPP data that you could go here. All right, and that's very, very simple. Yeah, so let's kind of look behind the scenes. So NFC Tools, if you haven't downloaded, it's a great piece of little software. There's a lot of them out there that lets you read tags. So if we scroll down to the bottom, you'll see what's really happening underneath the scenes. So the first tag, the first INDEF record is the URL to get to the website. The second record is actually a DPP, but you can't get to that because the iPhone won't let you do that, or Android won't let you do that because it's not the first record. And then the third record is the NDPP record that we've invented for this demo with a MIME type of text/NDPP. And here you can see that data in JSON format stored directly on the tag itself. All right? So let's see here. So we want to go to airplane mode next.
Airplane mode?
Yeah, so we're going to airplane mode on the Android device. There we go. And actually, you can see now in airplane mode, Klaus was able to read this information even when we're not connected to the internet. All right? So if you think about it, at the end of life of a product, it may not be in a place where there's great internet connectivity and all those types of things. By having some of that data stored on the product, there might be value. And that's kind of the thinking behind storing data on the product. Did we get everything, Klaus?
I think so. Let me check. But yeah, looks good.
Okay, looks good.
So
all right.
I think now we go to the next product, right?
Yeah, so the next product we're going to show.
Explain what this is, actually.
Yeah, so what this is. So this is a door lock. It's just one of the manufacturers that makes door locks. It's battery powered, but there's no batteries in it. I took all the batteries out. It may have been in my door at one point in time, but I won't tell you that part. So what is happening here is there's 2 INDEF records on this lock. And the first one is a link to the DPP in the cloud. So this data, you can see it's on the website. It's not on the product itself. It's directly on the website. So we've read this data and done the round trip like you normally would for a typical data carrier. And I can see here's all this information that's on the product. Now there's one other little feature that we add. If you go to the reader and do the same thing, a really cool little feature. So now this data has been read locally from the device. And if you scroll to the bottom, we've added another little feature for Android, which if you click on Validate NDPP, it actually compares the data in the cloud and on the product. And what it's identified is that something's been tampered. The data is different. And if you click on More Information, you'll see that the product production date was different than what's in the online space. So someone has tampered with the data online, and it no longer matches the data that was embedded in the product when it was manufactured. And we think this is another key reason why you might want to include data on the product, because you could basically do some additional level of protection. All right? And then the last demo, which is this one, is guess what? You get to try this yourself. Did you know that? As part of your registration. If you go to the next slide, if you go to your badge, which I don't have on, and you tap the badge if on the Vision NFC side. If you tap it with your phone, that'll take you to the website, and you can download an app. This very app that we were just showing on the screen. Your badge that you've been using here since you've been here, it has DPP data on it as well. So you've been using it for doing your business card, which is that standard kind of use case of tapping that primary consumer engagement app. But the data is already embedded on the card as well. So if you tap it with that app, you'll see the data is also embedded directly on here. And if you have Android, you'll be able to validate that the data on the card matches the data that's in the cloud as well. So it's showing that use case as well. So when you go home, you can show all your friends that there is a real live DPP demo that exists with NFC, and you saw it first in Nice.
So,